right, welcome back. Time Out with You Stadium. There's 2 extra people in this little chat right here. So if you can't tell, if you can't read their names, Hunter Henry and Sean Culkin, who are the 2 newest members of our U Stadium team and the hosts of our new podcast, The Flow Bros. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey, we're doing great. How you doing?
Doing
Thanks
good. We're happy to have you. Thanks for coming on. So quick, just kind of like intro to your show. What do you guys hope for this? What are your goals behind it? What do you want the listeners to kind of pick up, learn about you? Give me all of that.
Yeah, I think we have been talking about this. We've been friends for 4 or 5 years, real close friends, and we've been talking about doing a podcast for a long time. Last year, we really got close to doing it and then just never pulled the trigger. And I feel like it's always been in the works. And finally, we're doing it, and we're excited. I feel like we just want it to be kind of wherever we go, we go with the flow. Kind of hence the name. Also, the name with the hair. You can see Sean kind of's got a nice little flow. I've always been a little jealous. Me, I've grown it out. I've tried, and
kind of grows
Sean's
out
always encouraged me
like this.
Yeah,
instead of
it's always a fro.
It'd be the
I'm
fro
a
bro.
fro, not a flow. So, yeah, it's we're excited. I think it's gonna be cool. Me and Sean are pumped.
Yeah, I mean, we just have like so many times. I feel like in the last couple of years where we're like, man, this would be good to share with others. Like, we should have a podcast or something like that, along with like, everyone else probably in today saying the same thing, right? But we think that we have like just a different element because of what we do for a living, but then also just our values and our interests, and we're just kind of make it like kind of Hunter said, like how it flows. But we're just going to talk about pretty much like every week would be something different. So it's not like we have a certain niche that we're always talking about this. Obviously, we're going to talk more about football and our experiences in NFL, but then we also have a ton of other passions that we're extremely passionate about that we want to, share with others there too. So it's going to be unique. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you guys both have like a separate kind of path to the NFL, which is really cool too. You can kind of bring some different expertise. Hunter was a top 35. Well, you went 35th overall, I think it was, second round pick. And Sean, you've had to kind of like scrap and fight and claw your way up through the practice squad onto the active roster. So it'd be cool to kind of get your different, not opinions, but kind of experience on what you've done and how you've gotten there. So I'm excited to, listen to that and just hear kind of just your different, how you've gone through from team to team, Sean, and Hunter, what it's like now being, courted by other teams and doing all that. So I'm excited to just kind of hear your guys' experiences.
Yeah, Nick, like you said. Sorry, Hunter. I feel like you're gonna see a different light, right? Like we're all gonna see like our experiences in NFL from a different angle. Like you said, like Hunter, how he came in and how I came in. But at the end of the day, we're still on a team. We're still playing the same sport, doing the same thing. So we had the same result, but how we got there is extremely different. And that's gonna be fun to kind of share our experiences between the two. And I think that we're definitely able to relate with that.
Yeah, and our relationship, just like we saw each other and like we kind of grew with each other, like as a player, as friends, as teammates. So we can bounce a lot of those stories and a lot of those fun times off each other. Obviously, like you said, we were, different paths, but at the same time, we were still trying to get to the same goal. So we were worked with each other, have a lot of cool stories. We lived with each other. So a lot of cool experiences we've done with each other. Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm looking forward to it, guys.
Yeah, same.
All right. So
Nick, you're up. Or Frankie, you're up. Sorry, Frankie, you're up.
See what happens. Bree and Nick they want to do a show together without me. I'm going to start doing my own show. Me and Splash are going to do a show next week. Forget it.
I keep trying to remove you from the screen, but I can't.
I got the
I don't know how to
creator
do
tools,
it
bro.
on NFL Red Zone. I don't know, man.
Not going to happen. But Hunter, not to get too much into this, I know you're going through a free agency process now. What does that look like for you? Like, are you fielding calls from a lot of teams? Is you and your agent who were close with your maybe agent on the marketing side, Mark, who actually set up the Flow Bros connection here, that actually is how we all met. But what does that look like on a day-to-day, man? Like, what are you valuing out of free, from teams contacting you regarding free agency? Like, how does that look?
It's been pretty quiet. That's one thing lately. This year's been weird with no combine. All the teams don't get together, so that can, usually those guys in those passings are talking about free agents, talking about different things. So that's usually a big time for people to at least get a feel for your market. So this year was a little bit different. And then just obviously this past year with COVID and just what's coming up with the salary cap has not really been finalized for this next year. So a lot of teams are still trying to wait to see what the final salary cap is going to be. And until they know that, they don't really know what they're exactly going to do. And so it's kind of just a waiting game, and it sucks because I feel like I'm just, you're just sitting there waiting. You have to be patient. So, me and my wife are just sitting here waiting, being patient, and trying to figure out what's best. We don't really know what's to come. We kind of obviously are going to look at everything, the whole picture, obviously finances, team, just perfect fit for myself. There's going to be a lot that kind of goes into it. So, it's just a waiting game. And excited to kind of find out where, what it's going to be, how it's going to go down here in these next few weeks.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I mean, there's probably so many variables there. So, I mean, it's something that is going to be a decision that down the line for you probably is going to dictate a lot of where you see yourself in 5 years as well. So whether it's a quarterback location, where you want to set up your family. So that's interesting, man. In terms of playing with the Chargers and your experiences playing with Justin, who I know you're close with, you guys have a really close relationship. I mean, that's obviously going to have a big effect on you, I'm sure, in terms of picking where you want to go.
Yeah, it definitely will play a factor. I mean, and Justin being a young quarterback who's super talented, with a great relationship with him. I mean, it's exciting. It's an exciting destination, and to be back with the Chargers, I'm not going to rule that out ever. It's been a great place for myself. My wife really enjoys it out here, and they drafted me, so I always have a special place for the Chargers in my heart. So it's just a tough process. You know what I mean? It's just sitting back, waiting, and figuring out what's going to go down. But it's always a potential of going back with Justin, and everybody kind of saw what he did this past year. So it could be definitely a big piece into the puzzle of kind of what I want to do in the end.
Cool. Sean, I want to switch gears and talk about go back in the vault a little bit from 2017 when you went undrafted out of Missouri. Because I'm always fascinated, like once you get to day 3 of the draft and you have the 6th and 7th round, you start looking towards that undrafted period. Like teams go crazy and set up all these calls to bring in free agents. What was that like with you? Like what was it that were you courted by different teams? Were there multiple teams in the running? And why did you decide to sign with the Chargers?
Yeah, like you said, Nick, it's a crazy experience. It's almost kind of analogous to recruiting going out of high school to college, honestly. But it happens. It's all confined in like an hour. So I had a pretty good idea. I was thinking 5th to 7th round, but also knew to be prepared. Hey, if you don't get drafted, who are your top teams? And kind of look at so I kind of knew going into the draft based off roster where I could see myself being a good fit. And so around like you said, 5th, 6th round, you start to get calls, but they're not calling you to draft you. They're calling you, hey, we're thinking about taking you as soon as the draft's over, like keep us on your radar. And towards the end, you kind of started to see, okay, this is where it's going to go. And you start getting all these calls, and it's pretty stressful. You have probably within that 30 minutes to an hour, you're using 2, 3, 4 phones, 4 different people between my agent, my family members, and myself. And everyone's trying to fill that roster, right? Every team pretty much wants to get 10 to 15, 20 guys. So, if you don't get back to them soon, they might have moved on to someone else. So there's a little bit of a time pressure aspect to it. But for me, and for the same reason why I went to Mizzou too, I just wanted to go where I felt like I was valued and that they saw potential and value in myself as a player. And the Chargers were one of the only teams to come to Columbia to do a private workout. Every team in that process can have up to 25 guys come in for a visit at their facilities for, see the coaches, meet the strength coach, do a physical, see the team docs, check out everything. And that's a good sign. And they were the only team to fly me out to LA. And that was actually, California. San Diego at the time too. I'm in LA now. But that was my first time actually going to California, which was neat too. But so that's kind of why I picked the Chargers. I just felt like they saw the potential in me and they treated me well through the process as best they could without drafting me. And that's, as an undrafted guy, the best I could, ask for. So
that's cool. The draft process. I mean, that always interests me, the whole undrafted kind of process when it goes down. But updating now on, where you're at, you spent 3 years, with the Chargers from San Diego to LA. A year with Baltimore last year, so you got to play with Rivers, Lamar. I mean, those are two pretty good quarterbacks. Not many better than that. And now signing a futures deal with the Chiefs to play with Patrick Mahomes, who's probably the best quarterback in the league. Was that like a deciding factor for you? And what exactly is a futures deal? I don't know if many are too familiar with that.
Well, to the quarterback question, I think that's it's always in the back of your mind, right, when you choose. Because I mean, when I showed up at Mizzou, Chase Kaufman, who played at Missouri, he's one of the best tight ends in collegiate play, and he told me, hey, like, as long as you have a good quarterback, befriend him, get to know him, because it will carry over to the field. And at Mizzou, that was always the case. I had between Drew Lock, Matty Mock, I always had good players, James Franklin, and so I mean, obviously, I didn't factor that in when I went to LA, but playing with Phil, playing with Lamar, and now with Pat. I mean, those are three incredible quarterbacks, and it's been a blessing, honestly, to learn from them and understand and to see how they operate on a day-to-day basis. I'm excited to play with Pat, and I've also had some great tight ends. If you look at it too, I mean, look at Antonio Gates when I first showed up, and then Hunter Henry, right? So like for me, I just spent time watching them play, and this how can I take the stuff that they're great at? How does that fit my role and what I can do? And that's growth, right? So I did the same thing there. I did the in Baltimore, looking at Nick Boyle and his blocking abilities, Mark Andrews, Pat Ricard as a fullback. I mean, 3 solid players, and then now go and play with Travis. So in the quarterback tight end spot, I've been very fortunate. And to answer your question on the futures deal, the way I look at it is pretty much it all comes down. Hunter, you can jump into, but for me, it comes down to guaranteed money. So, when I signed a 3-year deal when I was undrafted with the Chargers, none of it was guaranteed. So after my second year, going in my third season, sitting in the offseason, yes, I'm on the Chargers, but if I don't play well in that camp, they're going to cut me, and there's nothing guaranteed. There's no reason to keep me because there's no dead money if they keep me or cut me. So it's essentially the same thing. Like, there's no guaranteed money in the contract, but you're on a team, you're on the 90-man, and it's up to you to make the team come camp. So it's the same situation I've always been in the last 5 years, except for last season, I wasn't on a team at all because I was still recovering from a Achilles surgery. So that's the way I look at it. Hunter, do you got anything to add on the futures though?
Yeah, I mean, it's just exactly what you said. It guarantees a spot for you in camp and gives you an opportunity to get in front of the coaches and get film and to prove yourself, just like Sean has done every single year. And even the guys that are guaranteed, I feel like in a way you got to go. You still got to go prove yourself every single year. Every year is a new year. Doesn't matter if you're undrafted, the top guy, you still have to go prove yourself. It's a production-based business, and you got to, prove that you're going to add value to the team. So, I mean,
you're only as good as your next play, right?
Exactly, 100%.
That's the league. That's what the NFL is about. Performing.
It's a business, man, and you get to see that the more you're in it. You get to see kind of those decisions being made. So it's definitely a business, and but it's to have an opportunity, man. That's all you can ask for.
Bree, I just want to say one thing. You heard what Sean said, right? They want to play for good quarterbacks, meaning Hunter's not going to the Patriots. We all know that, all right?
It's okay.
So if there's anything we got
all right.
But he ain't going to the Jets.
Don't answer on that, Hunter. Don't answer. No comment.
I knew going into this.
No comment. You can listen to Flow Bros for this.
There we go. That's
fun.
how you plug it.
It's fun. You guys, obviously, if we haven't covered it before, you guys are tight ends. We all know this. the position has become so much more glamorous now than maybe when we were younger. I mean, you look at guys like Tony Gonzalez. Yeah, he's considered one of the best, but in his time, like the tight ends, nobody really gave the tight ends as much credit as they do now with Gronk and Travis Kelce, and then Hunter with you, Darren Waller, people like that. How has that kind of, I guess, changed your outlook on your position? Like, is it more exciting to play knowing that people, give tight ends some love now, finally?
I feel like we're still underrated in a way. People give us love, but I feel like we're still underrated.
It's getting better.
It's getting better. It's getting better. We have a national day now, so that's huge.
You do. Yeah.
We have a
Shout out
whole
George
day
Kittle for that
dedicated
one.
to ourselves and in the season, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, guys like you said, Tony G, Gates, Witten, Shannon Sharp, the legends. Even going back to like Ditka and
I knew you were gonna say, let's go. Mike Ditka, baby.
Come
He's a
on.
legend. Knew it.
You got to
yeah,
say,
baby. Gotta throw in Ditka. But just even going back to all those guys, I feel like even though it's just such a matchup, the tight end position is just such a matchup. It's hard. We're a big body that can run, so it's tough for linebackers. But you can see how the game, because of the way the tight end position is changing, you can see linebackers change, right? So they're becoming a little bit leaner, faster. I mean, these guys are like running 4.4s now. They are linebackers, right? They're 235, 40 pounds, maybe even lighter, and they're running 4.4. So it's just the game has evolved in a way that they know that they have to like have a guy that can cover the tight end because there's such a mismatch. So the tight end position, I think, has evolved the game in so many different ways, but I still think it's a little underrated.
And then you have a guy like Kyle Pitts this year too. I'm sure you guys are going to get into that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to kind of, steal any segments here from upcoming shows, but he might go in the top 5, which hasn't happened in decades. So, I mean, that's going to be something to watch. I mean, he's probably the next great tight end that comes into the league. So, I mean, it's going to be cool to see him.
I think too, the increasing amount of like 2-3 tight end sets formations, that was a big change. Like with the Patriots, I think when you saw, Gronk and Hernandez, like that was really like the evolution, I think, to, okay, now, man, tight ends, they're making plays left and right. And linebackers at the time, 10, 15 years ago, weren't really equipped to maybe guard a guy that is basically a receiver that's 250, that's running a 4.5. And you started to see more tight ends like that. And then with the college going to a spread, you start seeing more playmakers making plays on the receiving standpoint. And then you start doing more 2 tight end sets. You have maybe one that's more of like a complete tight end, a blocking tight end. But then you have a guy, like you said, Kyle Pitts. I haven't watched much of him, but I know he's one of the best, pass catching tight ends coming out of college. Right. And, but that fit because of all the new sets. I think that's a big part too, and what's happening to our position.
It'll be cool to see how it evolves because, I mean, you look at just like fantasy football drafts and how important getting at least one above average to great tight end is and changes your team.
Mm-hmm.
And
don't get me started on fantasy. Don't get me started on fantasy. Don't get me started.
You were my tight end this year, so thank you.
I created 50 Twitter accounts. I created 50 Twitter accounts, so after every game, I'm the one that's Hunter, why he screwed me on my fantasy points. So Hunter, I'm sorry. That's been
the worst part about fantasy sometimes is these people take it way too serious, and I'm like, I had a pretty good game, right? I thought I had a good game, and then I'm getting blown up that I didn't help them on fantasy enough. And I'm like, dude, you left 3 points out there, man. I need 3 points. I needed those 3 points. I would have won this week. And I'm like,
get points for blocks, man.
Yeah, I got a block too. I got to do some other things on the field.
No fantasy points on my end.
We need a rule change for blocking points.
Yeah, fantasy football is like the death of me, so we won't get into it. But we've got some kind of fun icebreaker, get to know you guys questions. So we're going to do, in our show, we do a little rapid fire segment. So we're just going to do the same thing. First thing that comes to mind, you don't really need to explain it, just pops in your head and just go. So favorite team growing up?
Bucks.
Falcons.
Nice.
Okay.
From Tampa.
Oh, this is a good one. Strangest game day superstition. You got to have one. Every athlete has
I
one.
don't. I always say I don't have one, but I keep a routine. Golly, I don't know if I have like the exact one. I just do the same process. You know what I mean? Like I don't do like something weird.
Like everything starts at the same like time. So if a game's at 4 or 1, like it depends on when it's starting. And then I know like 4 hours before the game, I have a coffee and then I eat this meal at that time. So every time it's always the same like routine, I guess. I don't know, Hunter. And nothing's too.
I talk to myself a lot. Is that weird?
That's a little weird.
Is that weird?
a little weird.
I kind of like talk to
bit.
myself.
I talk to myself.
Let's go.
You answer
Let's go,
yourself?
man. Go be the best today. Let's go. You know what
Yeah,
I
like,
mean? Like,
long
I do that. Is that
Conversations
weird?
Back and forth? Is that?
Yeah,
something-
it's all good. I kind of hype myself up in a way. A little
He's in the
inner self.
corner of the locker room, staring at the wall, talking to himself. It's not that weird,
Yeah.
though. I want to consider that
Yeah,
strange,
it's-
right, Hunter? That's not strange. Like,
No, it's not a superstition. That's just that's football, right?
I guess. We got pregame meal. You guys eat before games? Throw up after? Like how do you guys do this?
Tough for me to eat on game day, but usually since we play like afternoon games, I'll eat like an omelet and then honestly that's like some potato, like some hash browns, and then that's about it. Honestly, maybe a smoothie packed with a bunch of protein, so I
Yeah.
can make up a bunch of protein in a smoothie. It's easier to get down a little bit.
Yep.
yeah, I go
Makes sense.
smoothie, omelet, and a little bit of pasta and chicken breast. I won't finish both, but just to get a little more carbs and protein.
Who eats
Okay.
more? I'm gonna go with Sean.
I'm going with
Yes.
Hunter. Nah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Sean.
Sean does?
Sean
Definitely
does.
I eat more.
Sean does. My man can put down some food.
Some food. I don't know. Don't let Hunt fool you, though. I mean, we put down some za. In our
All right, we put down some pizza and we put down some food sometimes.
And we crush some pizza.
Yeah, we do. We have in the past for sure.
All right, this is my question right here. You have one sandwich. You can only have one for the rest of your life. What's on that sandwich?
Oh, it's easy. It's
Oh.
Publix subs, the ultimate supreme. The
Ooh,
ultimate
Publix, bro.
Publix, bro. Publix subs. Do you guys know about that? Is that
No,
They
what
don't know
is that?
Publix, bro.
Publix? Publix is like
Publix.
Vons, like a Ralph's.
Yeah,
What's
that's
that?
all
I
like
like
it.
that's
I've heard
Southern
of it.
California. We don't have that up in the Northeast. We've got like
Oh my
we got Wegmans.
gosh.
I guess that's kind
You
of
got
the name.
Kroger?
Like,
It'd be like
No, we don't
Kroger's.
have
It'd be
Kroger.
like Wegmans. I had Wegmans in Baltimore. It's just like Wegmans, and it has the
Okay.
best.
our producer Ryan says Publix is the best. Said it in the chat.
Wegmans.
Yeah, Splash.
What's on the
Wegmans,
sandwich
bro.
though?
This
What's
is
in
it?
Supreme is the one I go with.
Oh,
It's,
Supreme.
what is it? It's lettuce,
Fucking-
tomato, salami.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's like an Italian combo kind of.
Italian combo. Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
If I could do one sandwich, Publix is up there for sure, but I'm probably gonna do like a turkey BLT,
That's a safe
with like
one.
on like a good sourdough bread. Throw a little avocado on there, a little lettuce. Ooh, man.
BLT is one of the
You
most.
know, a little
BLT
nice-
is a very underrated sandwich. Very.
Yeah,
You know, I've
man.
never had a
I would agree.
BLT. I've never
they're
had
phenomenal.
just the bacon. I've never had one.
Oh, those are good too. But I like to throw a little turkey or chicken on there. It,
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah, I
it,
would
it,
go
it-
turkey.
Yeah.
it takes
Yep.
it up a level.
The BLTT. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I don't know. I need like a hot sandwich, like a nice chicken parm.
What's hot?
Cutlet.
I would get it.
Chicken
I would
cutlet.
get it toasted. I would get my BLT toasted. Hot. You know what I mean?
It's funny to
I
see the
feel like
difference because
getting,
you're
like,
talking to three
actual-
Northeastern, like Italian
Yeah.
Americans here, and it's like you're talking pizza and then you're talking like sandwiches. It's like, where's the chicken cutlet?
Yeah,
Right?
Hunter and Sean, you guys know about the chicken
Little
cutlet
muffin.
game? You guys know about
I
that?
don't know. Yeah.
Oh my
What?
God.
What?
Enlighten us. Tell us
Foreign
more.
language.
Chicken
Oh, it's like
cutlet.
foreign
It's
language, man.
a thin sliced cutlet. You egg wash it, you put some flour, and you fry it on a
That's
skillet.
fried chicken.
Yeah, but it's
No,
thin
not
cut.
not
No.
fried
And then you
chicken.
put it on a sandwich. So you stack up a few. You got a
Got
nice piece.
Italian
Got the little
breadcrumbs.
thin, crispy cutlet.
Yeah.
Chicken
They
cutlet's
got
the best,
some
man.
Parmesan
Put some-
cheese.
put
some
with
lemon on it.
breadcrumbs.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
I say next
Fresh
episode,
mozzarella,
Hunter,
roast
we have a
pepper.
chicken cutlet. We'll have it for the first
Guys.
time together on
Do they
Flow
have
Bros.
chicken
have-
cutlets out here, bro?
You
Oh,
guys will
where-
find them.
You
Where
can
you guys,
make them.
Italy right now?
It's the
We can do
easiest thing in the world.
I don't know. First timer with a cutlet. It's risky.
Yeah, grease fire. Yeah, maybe don't make them.
I'm getting scared thinking about it.
Yeah, I take that back. Actually, they're
I don't
not
know
hard.
if we could
though,
freeze
so
any and
whatever.
send it your way. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah,
I like
I made
that.
them the other day. and They
Same,
came
but-
out beautiful. So,
I like it.
so next time I'll send you guys a care package from U Stadium.
All right, what's the craziest locker room or practice field moment? Doesn't have to be from you guys, maybe a teammate. What's the
or even just like a
moment you've seen?
teammate. If it's not a moment, just like a teammate that was just crazy in the locker room that you remember that was wilding out.
Oh, Hunter, I'm thinking of the scrimmage against the Rams a couple years ago.
Ooh, that was a little crazy.
That
was a little feisty. I ain't gonna lie.
We got a little.
It was on edge. Okay, let's just set the stage for this one first off. Well, we had already practiced with them, right? Isn't that right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Already practiced with them,
yep.
And we kind of like hit him in the mouth a little bit, like at the first practice. Like we kind of were like, we took it real serious, and we kind of like, we did well against the Rams in the first one. So we go to their place, and we knew it was going to be a little chippy because it started getting chippy towards the end of the previous practice, and we get into one-on-ones.
Oh,
one-on-ones, and we're like receivers
pulling my hair.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing? Like pulling hair, like grabbing shirts, and I'm like about to pull a hamstring. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? We're just trying to we're trying to get better here, man. Like, don't like. I realize you're trying to make the squad and all this stuff, but like, don't hurt me. So we were kind of getting chippy down with linebackers, safeties, tight ends, and so it was getting chippy. But then we looked down to the receivers, and the receivers were getting super chippy.
Oh yeah.
I guess one of our receivers, Dontrell, he ran like a corner or something, and the guy like just tossed him, like just in the middle of the route, tossed him down. So he gets up, right, throws his. This is the first thing, he threw his helmet off. Didn't he like throw his helmet off to like start fighting? I'm like, dude, that's the worst thing you got to do. Leave your helmet on.
Yeah.
And fights in football practice are stupid because you're just punching helmets.
Yeah.
It's just bad ball.
It's not ideal.
No. So we look down, right, and it just becomes a mad brawl because everybody just collides into that. We thought practice might end, didn't we? We thought like, oh, we're probably going to go home now because this is just going to be a bad practice the rest of the day. But we kept going. About every second play, there's another brawl. So for about 2 hours straight, we had a brawl every 2 plays.
Small one.
Kids were
crazy.
Nothing crazy.
The culmination was bad.
Yeah, that was just a bad day.
I remember seeing a video. I remember seeing a highlight from a different angle, and you just see, I forget who it was, and he was just charging
Keenan.
Right? No, I know. I don't know who was charging him. And Keenan dropped, picked him up, and put him on his back.
Oh,
it was.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was pretty legendary. It was bad of us to do, but it was kind of fun to be a part of.
That's like when the first time in camp that you get to hit another team, right? Like it always sounds like there's some fights that go down when you do the team scrimmages.
Right.
That's the time when it happened, like midway through camp, and you're about a week out from preseason.
Yes, it's in the middle of like we've been going for like 3 weeks, and it's just we're just beat down, and we're like,
it's like 2 days after you just played a game, and then you're scrimmaging this team, knowing that you're gonna play them in 3 days in a game. And you've been going for 30 days, and it's hot, and it's just
we need to get rid of joint practices. Those just
What's the deal with that? How often do you guys do joint practices, or it just depends? I mean, is it
like I would say they're fun though. It's a good change up, but at the same time, they just always end up somehow getting chippy in a way. And they're always like, just because we're practicing, and it's like in a game, you can't really do that stuff because you're going to get penalties. But out here, it's just like, oh, we can do whatever. But we'll do it. Golly, with the Chargers, we did it a lot. I feel like, didn't we? Probably. We
would always do one with the Rams because it was just up the road, and then the Saints would always come out to Cali. Yeah. So we would have that would be a joint, like a week. You'd have like 3 to 4 practices, and then you play 2 days later a game, and you've already run pretty much all the plays that you're going to be running. It's just not ideal. But
when you guys are in joint practices, who's setting up like the drills for tight ends? Is it one of the coaches, or they're both together? Like, how do you coordinate what drills you guys are doing, or it's just?
I mean, it's kind of like the same
setup.
Yeah, like you split up. We're doing our same stuff. It's almost like like a pregame, like we're going through just our drills, running routes. Me might get together on offense, run 5 plays on air, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna go to 11-on-11 or 1-on-1, 7-on-7. But instead of going against the defense like we would in camp, then the Saints come over from their field. They've just did the exact same thing that we just did for the last 30 minutes, and they come over, and then we have a joint like scrimmage, if you will.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, I think we got everything we needed to get, you guys. So
That was awesome.
Cool.
Thank
You guys
you.
want to be on the show with us every week? I mean,
I'm down,
every other
dude.
week. You
Yeah,
guys
we're
can come on
naturals
whenever
at
you
it.
want.
Be
It's
fun.
good.
Yeah.
We got to do what they do on
Let
ESPN
us
when
know.
like Stephen A joins, like Get Up, and then they do the other way around, and they have
Yeah.
like Greeny go with Skip, and not Skip, with Stephen A. So we do like
Yeah.
one of you guys can hop in on our show and vice versa. So
just buzz you in real quick.
That
Well,
was-
all right. So we obviously got to plug the show. Flow Bros is going to debut on Monday. We decided. Final answer was Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. With these two guys. And if you thought anything that they had to tell us today was entertaining, just wait until you just wait. Make sure you have the U Stadium app. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and you can get Time Out with U Stadium, Flow Bros, and everything else that we have right there. So with that being said, we're done here. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks
the
for
best.
having
Thank
us.
you.